how can you surrender and let go and become detached from the outcome and the stuff that you seek after in your life? How can you do that and still have the things that you want come into your life? How does that paradox work? One of the things that I have learned in my own speaking is to let go of the outcome, to be unconcerned with the reaction and what's in it for me, and indeed to just surrender. And in my meditation before I speak, I always repeat the mantra endlessly over and over again, and I find myself doing this more and more in my life, and something that I urge you to do. I ask the question, how may I serve? Just, how may I serve? How may I serve? How may I serve? There are 1,000 people there. How may I serve them? It's like getting the focus off of what's in it for me and how do I look and whether I say the right thing and whether people like what I say and whether they buy things that I have or whatever. And instead, like letting all of that go. Just letting that go. And getting the focus of your life, the centeredness of your life on this business of serving. And the irony of it is that when you get to that point where you're able to do it and let go of that outcome, all of the stuff that you chased after and worked so hard for and figured you had to have back here begins to chase after you and show up in your life. And it isn't you're no longer on the treadmill. It's like a surrendering. And so that's what I do when I come on stage. And it's almost as if God says to me, it's like, as long as you stay on purpose, you'll never stumble. And you'll know what to say. And when you get off of that, and you shift your alignment away from that, then you won't be able to do what you're doing. And the same thing happened in the writing of this Real Magic. For the first time in my life, I experienced what I have come to call automatic writing, where I left home and went off to Maui and sat down and in 8 weeks' time just produced this book without any struggle whatsoever, not one moment of struggle. And it just seemed to be there, and it seemed to flow. And I can type, like when I sit down and type a letter or a contract or anything that I might have to put out on a typewriter, I'm one of these kind of typists. I just look around. I can do it rather quickly, but I have never had the formal training in typing. But when I write at this little typewriter, I can go along and close my eyes and write at 70 and 80 words a minute when you get into that automatic. And I can't tell you how I do that, because I had completely let go. And I wasn't concerned with whether the editors liked it, how it came out, whether or not it was a bestseller, whether people were going to buy it, whether the reviews were going to be, nothing. It was like very, very peaceful. And it's a very peaceful place that I'm asking you to look at and get to in your own life.
I learned to do it about 10 years ago when I really honed this, and that was when I was speaking in Houston. There were about 3,500 people who had all paid a lot of money to come and hear me, and it was an evening with Wayne Dyer. And I had all my notes all arranged in exactly the way I wanted to, and everything was just exactly perfect. I was backstage doing the pacing that you do before you go on, and the meditating and the breathing, and just getting yourself relaxed, and your sort of divine guidance that you're seeking. And I realized that I didn't have my notes. They were gone.
Yes.
And they were back in the hotel room, which was 30 minutes away, and I was going on in 10 minutes. So I walked out on stage without any notes for the first time, and I surrendered. In that 10-minute period of time, I just said, all right, you know what you're doing, and you know how to do it, and you're good at this, and you're here for a reason, and there are 3,501 people in this room, and you're the one who's speaking, and 3,500 have paid to come and hear you. There must be a reason for that, and so get on purpose, get off of your outcome, get off of how well you do, get off of how much money you're being paid, get off of all of that, and get on to what are you here for?
Yeah.
And you're here to improve the quality of life for somebody else. That's all you can do. When you leave this planet, the measure of your life won't be in what you accumulated. It will be in what you gave. Since you can't get anything anyway, it's in giving. So I surrendered, and that was the beginning for me of surrendering. I've never used notes since in my life. It's not that I'm not prepared. I meditate before, and I know what I want to do.
See, what you have to learn is that I read a wonderful line when I was down in Australia by an actress who was talking, and she concluded it with, she said, if you want to make God laugh, tell her your plans. See, God's plan works, essentially, and yours doesn't. Basically. It's like becoming a spiritual being really means shifting away from your plans and allowing yourself into this divine perfection.
The present momentous, very momentous, the only true reality we possess. It is the only place where life truly exists, where the pulse of your soul beats, where your thoughts meet the wisdom of your heart. But how often do we neglect this moment? How often do we chase after the shadows of the past or the promises of a future that has not yet arrived, only to find ourselves feeling lost in the spaces between time? The present moment, however, is not just a fleeting instant. It is your superpower. It is the portal through which all transformation flows. Take a moment right now and just breathe. Let the air fill your lungs and recognize that this breath, this exact breath, is a gift. It has no past, no future. It simply is. The world is calling you to embrace it without hesitation, without fear, to awaken to the truth that everything you need to thrive is right here in this moment. You are not the past. You are not the mistakes, the regrets, the wounds that have shaped you. You are not the labels that others have placed upon you, nor the judgments you have carried in your mind. You are not the voice that repeats old stories of who you were and what you have done wrong. You are not the sum of yesterday's actions. You are more than that. You are a divine expression, a spark of the infinite, unfolding and becoming with every passing second. Your soul knows this. Even if your mind has forgotten, your soul is not bound by time. It is timeless. It exists beyond the confines of the past and the future. It moves with the eternal flow of the present, where there is no separation, no fragmentation, only unity. This moment is where your soul finds its deepest connection to all that is. The present moment is the only place where true power resides. We spend so much of our lives looking to the past, replaying the scenes in our minds as if we could change the course of what has already been. We live in the illusion that by holding on to our history, we can somehow protect ourselves from repeating old patterns. But the truth is that the more we cling to the past, the more we allow it to control us. Every thought you have about who you once were, about what you should have done differently, is like a chain that binds you to a reality that no longer exists. And then there is the future. Oh, how we dream about the future. We imagine it will bring us the happiness, the success, the peace we seek. We place our hope in things yet to come, believing that one day, if we work hard enough, if we achieve enough, we will finally arrive at the place where we will feel fulfilled. But here's the truth. The future never arrives. When it does, it is always the present. The future, just like the past, is an illusion. It is a story that we create in our minds, a projection of what we want or fear, but it is never truly real. The only thing that is real, the only thing that ever will, is the present moment. The present is the place where your life unfolds, where you make the choice to step into your power or to remain bound by the illusion of time. It is in the present that you can heal. It is in the present that you can release what no longer serves you. It is in the present that you can transform your thoughts, your energy, and your reality. Why then do we avoid it? Why do we distract ourselves, numb ourselves, running away from the beauty and the challenge of this moment? The answer lies in our fear. We fear facing ourselves. We fear the unknown that exists in the depths of the now. But this fear is a veil-thin, transparent curtain that, once lifted, reveals the truth. The present moment is a sanctuary. It is where you find your peace, your joy, your clarity. It is where you align with the very essence of who you are. You are a divine being. You are a spark of the universe. You have the power to create, to manifest, to heal. But all of this potential can only be unlocked when you come into full alignment with the present moment. The power you seek is not somewhere in the future. It is right here, right now. You see, when you let go of the past, you stop dragging around the weight of what has been. When you stop projecting your hopes and fears onto the future, you cease to live in a constant state of yearning. And in that sacred space where you let go of both past and future, you discover something profound: freedom. Freedom from the shackles of time. Freedom from the limiting beliefs you once held about yourself. Freedom to be fully present with the gift of life. The present moment is a blank canvas, awaiting the brushstrokes of your consciousness. What you choose to create in this moment will shape your experience, your relationships, your destiny. But in order to create, you must first let go of the attachment to how things should be and surrender to how they are. This is not resignation, but a recognition that the universe, in its infinite wisdom, has brought you to this place for a reason. You are here for a purpose. In this moment, you are whole. You are complete. You are enough. You do not need to be anything more or less than you already are. The ego will try to tell you otherwise. It will tell you that you must be better, do more, achieve more to prove your worth. But this is the illusion of the ego. It thrives on the belief that you are separate from others, separate from your source. It whispers that you must earn love, that you must work hard to be worthy. But the truth is this: you are already worthy. You are already loved. You are already enough. When you live in the now, you transcend the ego's constant demands for validation. You cease to define yourself by what you do or don't do, by how much you have or haven't achieved. You recognize that you are not your thoughts, your accomplishments, or your failures. You are the awareness behind them. You are the observer, the witness, the consciousness that is experiencing life in all its forms. And as you embrace this, as you release the need to be anything other than who you are in this moment, something extraordinary happens. Healing begins. Healing from the wounds of the past. Healing from the lies that you are not enough. Healing from the belief that you are separate from your divine source. All of these illusions dissolve in the presence of truth, and in the presence of the present moment, your soul begins to remember who it truly is. The present moment is your superpower. It is where miracles happen, where shifts occur, where new realities are created, but you must be willing to step into it. You must be willing to be fully present with yourself, with your life, with the world around you. In this space, you will find clarity, peace, and purpose. You will find the strength to forgive yourself and others. You will find the courage to release the burdens that have held you back. You will find the wisdom to make choices that align with your highest good. As you open your heart to the present moment, you align with the flow of the universe. You stop fighting against the current of life and instead begin to flow with it. You become like the river, effortless, peaceful, powerful. You trust that the universe has a plan for you, that everything is unfolding perfectly, and that you are exactly where you need to be. You are not the victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. And you can only step into this creative power when you are fully present with yourself, with your life, with your soul. The present moment is not a passive experience, it is an active choice. It is the decision to live consciously, to live with intention, to live with love. So, I invite you right now to step into this moment with me. Let go of the past, release the future, and fully embrace the gift of the now. Feel the energy within you. Feel the pulse of the universe vibrating through your being. You are a part of something much greater than yourself, and the present moment is your invitation to remember that truth. The present moment is your superpower. Embrace it, use it, live it, and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. In the vast expanse of existence, there is a silent truth that echoes through the chambers of our being. The present moment is where all creation begins. It is the canvas upon which your life is painted, each stroke infused with the colors of your choices, your thoughts, your energy. And yet, so many of us live as if we are trapped in a past that no longer serves us, or racing toward a future that we fear we will never reach. In doing so, we miss the masterpiece unfolding before us in this very instant. Every breath you take, every thought you think, every feeling you experience is an opportunity to create something new. The present moment offers you an infinite number of possibilities, each one, leading you closer to the truest expression of who you are. But you must be willing to see it. You must be willing to release the need to control, to overthink, to second guess. You must be willing to let go of the noise in your mind and listen to the quiet wisdom of your soul. It is in this surrender that true freedom is found. The freedom to be yourself without the weight of expectations or the pressure of perfection. The freedom to let go of the need to fix everything, to make everything right. The truth is, life is not about fixing, it is about being. It is about aligning with the flow of the universe, surrendering to the rhythm of existence, and trusting that all is unfolding as it should. In the stillness of the present moment, you are reminded that you are not separate from the divine. You are an expression of the infinite, a reflection of the cosmos itself. Every star in the sky, every blade of grass beneath your feet, every breath in your lungs is part of the same grand tapestry. You are not an isolated individual struggling against the world. You are an integral part of the whole, connected to everything, everywhere, in every moment. The present moment is where you reconnect with this truth, where you awaken to the fact that you are, in essence, one with all of creation. This awareness, this awakening, is not something that requires you to go out and search for it. It is already within you. It is the essence of your being, the core of who you are, waiting patiently to be remembered. All the distractions, the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, they are just temporary clouds passing through the sky of your consciousness. They are not who you are. You are the sky itself, vast, infinite, and untouched by the storm. When you let go of the need to control, to cling to the past, or to worry about the future, you step into your true power. You become like the river that flows effortlessly, following the path of least resistance. You become like the tree whose roots run deep into the earth, whose branches stretch toward the sky, secure in its place in the world. The present moment is your foundation, your anchor, your place of peace. And when you stand in this moment, grounded in your truth, nothing can shake you. Nothing can move you off course. You are aligned with the flow of life, and the current will carry you exactly where you need to go. But in order to experience this freedom, you must first release your attachment to the past. It is in holding on to the past that we bind ourselves to old stories, old wounds, and old ways of thinking. We tell ourselves that we are defined by what has happened, by the mistakes we have made, by the pain we have endured. But this is not the truth. The truth is that you are not your past. You are not the sum of your experiences. You are the consciousness that is aware of them. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, the observer of the story. And as the observer, you have the power to rewrite that story. You have the power to choose a new narrative, one that is grounded in the truth of who you are in this moment. The past no longer has a hold on you unless you continue to give it power. And when you release it, when you forgive yourself and others, when you make peace with what has been, you free yourself to live fully in the present. It is only then that you can begin to heal. Healing is not about fixing what has been broken. Healing is about remembering who you truly are, whole, complete, and divine. Healing is about coming back to yourself, coming back to the present moment where everything is already perfect as it is. This is not to say that life is without challenges. The present moment does not promise a life free of pain or hardship, but it does promise peace. It promises freedom from the mental chatter, the emotional turmoil, the endless cycle of trying to control everything around you. It promises that no matter what happens, you can find your center, your calm, your peace. The present moment is your anchor in a world that is constantly shifting, your rock in the midst of the storm. When you are truly present, you are no longer reacting to life, you are creating it. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a conscious creator, shaping your reality with each thought, each choice, each breath. You are the artist of your own life, painting your masterpiece one brushstroke at a time. And the beauty of this is that you have the power to change the painting at any moment. You can choose to step into a new story, a new chapter, a new way of being. The present moment is your canvas, and you hold the brush. In this moment, you are free to let go of the past. You are free to release the burden of guilt, shame, and regret. You are free to stop blaming yourself or others for what has happened. You are free to forgive, to heal, and to move forward with love in your heart. You are free to create a new reality, one that aligns with your highest self, one that reflects the love, peace, and joy that reside within you. And in doing so, you become a beacon of light in the world. As you step into your power, you empower others to do the same. When you live in the present moment, you show others the way. You become an example of what is possible when you let go of the past, release the ego, and embrace the truth of who you are. You become a living, breathing testament to the power of the present moment. So, take a deep breath and feel the energy of this moment coursing through you. Feel the love, the peace, the infinite possibility that resides in this now. Know that everything you need is already here. You are already enough. You are already whole. You are already powerful. You are already divine. All that you seek is within you, waiting to be awakened in this very moment. And as you awaken, as you step fully into the present moment, you will begin to see the world with new eyes. You will see the beauty in the simplest things. You will feel the peace in the stillness of your own soul. You will experience the joy that comes from being fully alive, fully present, fully you. The present moment is your superpower. It is where your true power lies. It is where your life begins. And it is where you will find everything you need to live a life of love, peace, and purpose. Embrace it, live it, and let it transform you. As you stand in the present moment, you are no longer bound by the constraints of time. You are free from the prison of the past and the illusions of the future. You are in the only place that truly exists, the only place where life happens, where the magic of existence unfolds. You are free to choose, to create, to be. The power is in your hands, and it is not hidden. or distant is right here, right now, waiting for you to claim it. But so often we forget, we become so caught up in the noise of the world, the demands of life, the expectations of others. We let the distractions of our minds pull us away from the sacredness of this moment. We become lost in the chaos, thinking that we need to do more, be more, have more to find fulfillment. But in doing so, we miss the truth. Fulfillment is not found in external achievements or possessions. It is found in the quiet peace of the present moment, in the awareness of the beauty that already surrounds us. The truth is, you already have everything you need. You have all the love, all the wisdom, all the strength within you to create the life you desire. But you must first stop searching outside of yourself for what can only be found within. The present moment is where your inner power resides. It is the place where your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions align with the highest version of yourself. It is where you connect with the divine essence that flows through you and all living things. When you let go of the need to control, to plan every detail, to force outcomes, you open yourself to the flow of life. You stop fighting against the current and begin to float with it. You surrender to the wisdom of the moment, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. And in this surrender, you find the peace and clarity you've been seeking all along. The ego, with all its demands and distractions, wants to keep you trapped in the past or anxious about the future. It wants you to believe that you are incomplete, that you need to do more, achieve more, be more. But this is the lie of the ego. The truth is that you are already whole. You are already perfect, just as you are, in this very moment. The present moment is where you realize this truth. It is where you remember that you are a divine being, a reflection of the infinite, and that you have the power to create the life you desire. To live in the present moment is to live in a state of constant creation. Every thought you think, every choice you make, is an act of creation. You are not a passive observer of your life, you are the creator of it. And when you step into the present moment with intention, with awareness, with love, you begin to create a reality that aligns with your deepest desires. You begin to live the life you were always meant to live. But to do so, you must release the hold the past has on you. You must forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, the choices you regret, the pain you've carried. You must let go of the stories you've told yourself about who you are, who you were, and who you think you should be. The past is over. It no longer has any power over you unless you allow it to. When you release the past, you free yourself to live fully in the present where all possibilities exist. The future is not something to fear either. So many of us live with the weight of what might happen, of what could go wrong, of the uncertainties that lie ahead. But the future is not something to fear. It is simply another moment waiting to unfold. And the best way to prepare for the future is to live fully in the present. When you give your full attention to this moment, when you align yourself with the energy of now, you open yourself to the highest possibilities for tomorrow. The future is created by what you do in the present. And so you stand at the crossroads of time, not looking back, not looking ahead, but standing in the now where all power lies. This is where you make your choices. This is where you decide who you want to be, what you want to create, how you want to live. The past has no hold on you, and the future is a field of infinite potential. The only thing that matters is the choice you make right now in this moment. And in this moment, you choose to be free. You choose to release the chains of the past, to let go of the fears of the future, and to embrace the power of the present. You choose to live fully in the now, to experience the joy and peace that come from being fully present with yourself and with life. You choose to embrace the truth that you are already enough, already whole, already perfect, just as you are. This is your superpower, the ability to be fully present with yourself, with the world around you, with the divine energy that flows through all things. This is where your true power lies. This is where transformation begins. When you step into the present moment with intention, with awareness, with love, you step into your power as the creator of your own reality. So let go of the past. Release the future and step fully into the power of now. In this moment, you are free. In this moment, you are whole. In this moment, you are everything you need to be. And in this moment, you have the power to create the life you've always dreamed of. This is the gift of the present moment. This is your superpower. Embrace it and let it transform you. Let it carry you to new heights of peace, joy, and fulfillment. Let it guide you to the highest version of yourself. And know that in every moment you are exactly where you are meant to be. As you stand in the vastness of the present moment, you come to realize that this space, this no, was not merely a fleeting point in time. It is the eternal foundation of your existence. It is the point of intersection where all paths meet, where past and future are mere whispers, and where the power of your soul is undisturbed. The present moment is the birthplace of all possibilities, the sacred ground upon which your life is created. And in this moment, you are free to choose again. The past has already been written. It cannot be undone, nor can it be relived. It is a collection of memories, each one holding a lesson, but none of them capable of defining you. The pain of the past no longer has power over you unless you continue to carry it. When you release it, you free yourself to step fully into the light of the present, where only love, peace, and possibility dwell. The weight of yesterday falls away, leaving you light, unburdened, ready to embrace the truth that you are enough, just as you are in this moment. The future filled with its uncertainties, its hopes, its imagined fierceness, a place that is yet to be created. It is a canvas still waiting for the brushstrokes of your thoughts, your intentions, and your actions. The future is nothing more than a reflection of how you choose to live today. And when you live fully in the now, you align yourself with the highest potential of tomorrow. The future is not something to be feared, but something to be created moment by moment, thought by thought, choice by choice, and you are the creator. So, what is left? What is the key that unlocks the doorway to all that you seek? It is simple, yet profound. It is the present moment. The present moment is where your power lies. It is where your deepest wisdom speaks. It is where your soul aligns with the divine flow of life, where you are reminded that you are one with the universe, that you are not separate from the love and abundance that surround you. In this moment, you are connected to everything, to all that is, to all that was, and to all that will be. When you choose to live in the now, you choose to align with the infinite. You choose to let go of the limitations imposed by the mind, by society, by old beliefs, and by the ego. You choose to live from a place of truth, from a place of authenticity, from a place of power. You are no longer bound by the past, no longer enslaved by the future. You are free. Free to be, free to create, free to experience life as it is meant to be, experience whole, abundant, and full of grace. In this space, the possibilities are endless. When you are present, you step into a flow of creation that is effortless, that is guided by the wisdom of your heart and the intuition of your soul. You no longer need to struggle or force. You simply align with the natural rhythm of life, and everything you desire comes to you effortlessly in divine timing. You are not the doer. You are the observer, the creator, the conscious participant in the dance of life. This moment is where healing begins. It is in the now that you find the peace that eludes you in the chaos of your thoughts. It is in the now that you find the clarity that has been clouded by doubt. It is in the now that you return to your true self, the self that is whole, the self that is free, the self that is divine. And as you heal within, you heal the world around you. Your presence becomes a healing force, radiating love and light, touching everyone and everything you encounter. You may wonder, what is the secret to staying present in a world that is constantly pulling you in every direction? The secret is simple: awareness. When you are aware of the power of the now, when you recognize that this moment is the only place where life truly exists, you begin to shift your attention away from the distractions of the mind and the pressures of the world. You begin to see the beauty in the small things, the sound of a bird singing, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the love in another's eyes. You begin to see the divine in every moment, in every person, in every experience. The world becomes a reflection of your own inner peace, and you become a reflection of the divine. And when you embrace the present moment, you allow yourself to flow with life. You no longer resist the natural course of things. You trust that everything is unfolding as it should, even if you cannot always see the bigger picture. Life becomes an adventure, a journey of discovery, of growth, of transformation. You become a conscious creator, aware of your power and your ability to shape your reality with every thought, every feeling, every action. The present moment is your superpower, and you are the key to unlocking it. When you fully embrace the now, you step into the highest version of yourself. You become the person you were always meant to be, the person who is whole, who is free, who is divine, the person who lives with purpose, with intention, with love. So, take a deep breath and feel the presence of the now surrounding you. Feel the love, the peace, the infinite potential that exists in this very moment. Know that you are already enough. You are already whole. You are already perfect, just as you are. And in this moment, you have everything you need to create the life you desire. The present moment is where your power lies. It is where your life begins. It is where you will find everything you seek: love, peace, joy, fulfillment, purpose. It is all here now. Embrace it, live it, and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. There comes a moment, not always loud, not always visible, when something stirs inside you. A whisper beneath the noise of the world, a gentle nudge against the walls you've built. It's not a cry for help, it's a call to remembrance. Not a plea to become something new, but an invitation to return to what you've always been. The real you was never gone, just buried. Buried beneath expectations you inherited. Buried beneath stories you were told, buried beneath disappointments you never deserved. Like the sun behind the clouds, your true self never ceased to shine, was only momentarily obscured. The soul cannot vanish. It can only be veiled. We have been conditioned to forget. We were taught to listen to voices louder than our own. We were encouraged to trade our truth for approval, our joy for performance, our presence for productivity. And so we buried the softness. We hid the stillness. We abandoned the innocence. Not because we were broken, but because we thought that's what survival demanded. But let me tell you something simple and eternal. You were never meant to live a life of disguise. You were never meant to become a copy of anyone else's dream. You were born in truth, formed in love, and destined for freedom. And though you've wandered far, nothing essential has been lost. The gold is still in you. It has only been waiting for you to remember where you placed the shovel. You are not the names you were called. You are not the roles you perform. You are not the fears you carry. These are layers, masks, echoes. But beneath them lives something eternal and untouched. Something the world did not give you and therefore cannot take away. There is a light in you that predates your pain. There is a wholeness in you that survived the fragmentation. There is a love in you that has nothing to prove. And when you begin to listen, to truly listen, You'll hear the voice of your soul reminding you, I am still here. I always was. We bury ourselves under layers of striving and shame because the ego teaches us that who we are is not enough. It shouts, be more, do more, win more. And so we become performers in our own lives, applauded for the act, yet exhausted from the pretending. The tragedy is not that we forget, we all forget. The tragedy is believing the forgetting is final, but it's not. You are allowed to remember. You are allowed to put down the performance. You are allowed to stop running and sit in your own stillness. You are allowed to say, I miss who I was before the world told me who to be. That's not weakness. That's the beginning of spiritual courage. Healing does not begin when we change. Healing begins when we become honest about where we are. When we say, I'm tired of wearing masks that don't fit. I'm tired of living someone else's life while my own soul waits patiently behind the curtain. You do not need to become anything. You need only to uncover. You do not need to seek what you already are. You need only to see what you have buried. The acorn does not strive to become an oak. It simply surrenders to the truth of what it is. And in that surrender, everything it is destined to be unfolds naturally, organically, miraculously. The same is true for you. Your soul is not interested in your resume. It does not keep score of your failures. It does not measure your worth and productivity. It knows nothing of scarcity or shame. Your soul is interested in one thing, truth. And truth cannot be manufactured, it can only be revealed. So breathe. And in this breath, allow the dust to settle. Feel beneath the performance. Feel beneath the guilt. Feel beneath the should and the should have. Do you feel it? That flicker of aliveness? That is you, the real you, still warm, still awake, still whole. Not the version of you molded by society. Not the version of you that fears rejection. Not the version of you trying to earn worth, but the version that just is. The child who once played without apology. The spirit who once loved without fear. The soul who once trusted without evidence. The real you is not broken. The real you is not confused. The real you is not behind. The real you is free. And all the pain you've walked through, all the betrayal, all the heartbreak, all the disappointment, they did not erase you. They revealed where you stopped believing in your own light. But that light, it never stopped believing in you. There is something holy about reclaiming what you buried. There is something sacred about meeting yourself again after years of pretending. It is the most intimate reunion. The ego will resist. It will panic at the thought of losing control. It will whisper lies to keep you in hiding. But you are not here to obey fear. You are here to dissolve it with awareness. You were not born to live in defense. You were born to live in alignment. You were not born to compete. You were born to connect. You were not born to hustle for worth. You were born worthy. Every time you return to yourself, the universe sings. Every time you say yes to stillness, the divine listens. Every time you dare to feel instead of suppress, you melt another layer of illusion. You don't need more fixing, you need more remembering. You don't need to be taught your worth. You need to unlearn everything that made you doubt it. You don't need a map. You are the destination. And you've been waiting for your own arrival. Keep going inward. Keep digging. Every buried truth is waiting for your permission to rise. And when it does, you'll weep not because you found something new, but because you finally return to what has always been yours. And the beautiful paradox is this. The moment you stop chasing who you think you're supposed to be, the real you comes forth with grace, not effort. There is no struggle in being what is already true. There is only a quiet softening like a flower unfolding to the sun, not because it was forced, but because it was ready. You have been ready longer than you realize. You have carried the keys while believing you were locked out. You have sung the melody of your soul in whispers, afraid someone might hear your joy and judge it. But now is the season of returning. Now is the time for shedding the heavy cloaks of pretending. Now is the sacred invitation to live unburdened by the expectations of others and unashamed of the depth of your light. There is no medal for dimming your spirit to keep others comfortable. There is no reward for betraying your truth in the name of being accepted by people who don't even know who they are. You are not here to be understood by the asleep. You are here to awaken. And awaken you must, not in rebellion, but in remembrance, not in anger, but in peace. Because the real you is not here to fight for identity. It already knows its origin is divine. The real you is not in scarcity, nor confusion, nor desperation. The real you breathes in harmony with all that is. Imagine for a moment that you were never taught to abandon yourself. Imagine that no one ever told you to earn love, to fear failure, to doubt your worth. Who would you be today? You'd be bold, soft, limitless. You'd be unapologetically radiant. You'd be free. But even though the world did teach you otherwise, and even though you did forget, it's not too late. Because what is real cannot be destroyed. Truth may be delayed, but it is never denied. And the soul waits patiently, lovingly, as you remove each mask, each wound, each lie. It waits without judgment. It waits without rush, because your soul remembers who you are, even when you do not. It's why the ache has never left. Not the ache of loss, but the ache of remembering. That quiet longing, you feel it's not a weakness. It's the voice of truth calling you home. And as you begin to answer that call, not with panic, but with presence, you start to feel life differently. You notice the sacred in the simple. You hear silence not as emptiness, but as clarity. You look in the mirror and see someone you're finally willing to meet, not fix. And that's when it begins. The rebirth. Not loud, not dramatic, but deep. A returning, layer by layer, to the essence beneath it all. You realize that your worth was never up for negotiation. You realize that love was never something you had to win. You realize that your sensitivity was never a flaw, it was your compass. And the more you honor what you used to hide, the more you shine without effort. This is not arrogance. This is reverence. This is not ego. This is alignment. You stop asking, how do I become enough? And start asking, what have I believed that made me forget I already am? And like a snake shedding its skin, you release the roles, the people-pleasing, the striving, the proving. You lay them down gently, with gratitude for how they served you when you didn't yet know your truth. Then you step forward, not into a new identity, but into the space you once feared was too sacred for you to inhabit. This is where you begin to live, truly live, not in reaction to the world, but in response to your spirit. Not from wounded identity, but from remembered wholeness. And you see now that healing was never about becoming something different. Healing was about revealing who was always beneath the pain. The innocent one, the quiet one, the true one. And now you are ready to let that one speak, to let that one breathe, to let that one lead. There will be moments when the old story tries to pull you back. It will tell you you're not ready, that you're not healed enough, that you're still too broken. But listen closely. That voice is not your soul. It's the echo of your conditioning. And echoes may sound real, but they have no substance. They cannot touch you unless you stop and give them meaning. You don't need to argue with the noise. You just need to walk forward anyway, eyes open, heart steady, spirit rooted. And when you do, when you walk with the quiet knowing of your wholeness, life begins to rearrange itself around your truth. You attract what honors you. You align with what nurtures you. You magnetize what speaks your soul's language. This is not magic. This is resonance. This is the law of harmony. The universe responds not to what you pretend to be, but to who you actually are. And when who you are is no longer hidden beneath shame, no longer buried beneath fear, you become a lighthouse. Not because you shout, not because you strive, but because you exist fully, freely, and fiercely as yourself. And that is the greatest service you can offer the world, your authenticity. Not a performance, not a projection, but your living truth. Because when you stop hiding, you give others permission to stop hiding too. When you forgive yourself for forgetting, you give others the courage to remember. And when you live with your heart uncovered, you become the healing you once waited for. So let this be your sacred reclamation. Let this be the breath where you say, I am no longer a stranger to myself. Let this be the moment where you stop digging through the rubble of who you used to be and instead rise clean and whole from the silence of your becoming. Because the real you is not waiting at the end of your achievements. The real you is not waiting in the mirror of someone else's approval. The real you is not waiting on the other side of perfection. The real you is now, right here, beneath every false layer, beneath every buried truth, beneath every mask, alive, whole, sacred, and ready. Not ready to chase, not ready to perform, but ready to live as who you were before the forgetting. Because the real you was never gone, just buried. And now, you remember. There is a divine rhythm to awakening. It does not come in a rush, but in ripples. One realization leads to another. One truth uncovers the next. And slowly, your life becomes less about running from pain and more about moving toward presence. You no longer seek escape, you seek alignment. You no longer try to numb the ache, you listen to it. Because now you understand the ache is sacred. It is not a flaw in your design. It is a compass pointing you back to where you buried your joy. And isn't that beautiful? That even in your suffering, there was guidance. That even in your confusion, there was wisdom. You thought you were lost, but you were actually being led. Not away from yourself, but deeper into yourself. The breakdowns, the betrayals, the silent nights, they were not detours. They were doorways. Doorways into depth. Doorways into truth. Doorways into the only thing that ever really mattered, your soul's remembrance. And when the remembrance comes, it does not come with fireworks. It comes with peace. The kind of peace that doesn't need conditions. The kind of peace that says, I no longer need to be someone else to feel worthy. It is a peace born not of control, but of surrender. Not of striving, but of being. And in that peace, you begin to see everything differently. The people who hurt you, they were asleep too. The moments you regret, they were your teachers. The mistakes you made, they were chapters, not definitions. You begin to release the grip. You stop gripping the old narrative. You stop defending your limitations. You stop arguing for the smallness that never fits you. You see, now that your pain didn't make you less, it made you aware. Aware of what you never want to abandon again. Aware of what it means to live truthfully, not conveniently. And so you let go not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. You let go of the people who only knew how to love the mask. You let go of the timelines that were never yours. You let go of the fight to be seen because you finally see yourself. And oh, how holy that is. To see yourself not through the eyes of trauma, not through the lens of performance, but through the gaze of love. You begin to walk differently. Not with arrogance, but with grace. not with fear, but with reverence, because you know what it took to get here. You know the darkness you walked through. You know the courage it took to unbury yourself. And so you don't need to convince anyone anymore. You don't need to explain your worth. You simply live it, you embody it quietly, powerfully, authentically. The real you is not loud, but it is radiant. The real you is not perfect, but it is whole. The real you is not finished, but it is free, free to love without apology, free to express without fear, free to create, not to be noticed, but because it brings you joy. And in this freedom, you discover something else. There is no separation between your healing and the healing of the world. Because every time you show up as your true self, you give someone else permission to breathe deeper. Every time you choose peace over performance, you remind others that peace is possible. Every time you stop hiding, you shift the collective story from shame to sovereignty. This is how change happens, not through force, but through authenticity. Not through shouting, but through shining. And the world needs your shine. Not the polished version, not the filtered version, but the raw, real, beautifully human light that only you carry. You are not here to be like everyone else. You are here to be a mirror that reflects what is true, a mirror that reminds others of their own light, a mirror that says, look, you never lost yourself. You only stopped looking within. So keep looking within. Keep returning. When the world gets noisy, return. When the doubts grow loud, return. When the pain resurfaces, return. Return to the breath. Return to the now. Return to the place inside you that was never touched by fear, never defined by failure, never dimmed by time. That place is home. That place is where the real you lives. And from that place, everything becomes clear. You don't need to chase what's meant for you. It will find you in your authenticity. You don't need to beg for love you are love. You don't need to fear the unknown. The unknown is where your soul dances. And as you live from that space, life begins to unfold in divine rhythm. Not always easy, not always predictable, but always meaningful, always guided, always holy. Because you are no longer walking as someone pretending to be alive. You are walking as someone who has returned, not to a version, but to the original, the essence, the truth, the real you, still here, still radiant, still enough. And now that you've returned to the center of your being, you start to witness the world from a place of calm power, no longer tossed by every opinion, no longer shrinking in rooms that once intimidated you. You realize that nothing outside of you can define the truth within you. That freedom is not found in changing your surroundings, but in transforming the way you see. And now you see with the eyes of the soul. You see through illusion. You see past the masks of others and into the essence they've forgotten too. You no longer crave approval because you recognize the futility of trying to be understood in a language that doesn't speak to your truth. You don't resist that either. You bless it and you let it be. This is the maturity of awakening, not just reclaiming your own soul, but learning how to let others walk their own path without judgment. You begin to understand that everyone is buried in some way. Everyone is healing from something. And so instead of resenting the world, you begin to soften toward it. You move from resentment to compassion, from defense to openness, from why don't they see me to I hope they find themselves too. And that shift, it's nothing short of sacred. You begin to live not as a reaction to the world, but as an offering to it. Your presence becomes medicine. Your authenticity becomes a lighthouse. And you don't need to scream it from rooftops, you simply are, because when you are rooted in the real you, your life itself becomes a transmission, a silent teaching, a quiet revolution of light. And with this, something even more powerful begins to happen. You no longer see your past as a curse. You see it as the soil. You see the pain not as the end of your innocence, but as the beginning of your depth. The things that once made you bitter now make you wise. The wounds that once closed your heart now expand it. You've stopped asking, why did this happen to me? And you've started asking, what did this awaken in me? And that question unlocks the door to your soul. You no longer seek healing from the outside in. You don't chase remedies. You return to the healer within. You trust the divine intelligence in your tears. You listen to your body. You believe your intuition. You treat your triggers not as enemies, but as sacred messengers whispering where more light is needed. And you become gentle, not weak gentle. There is a quiet strength and softness, a profound courage and tenderness. You no longer need the armor because truth doesn't fear exposure. You let others think what they want because their perception cannot alter your essence. You walk unshaken because your peace is no longer negotiable. This is where the real living begins. When you are no longer trying to protect a false self, when you are no longer addicted to performance, when you are no longer imprisoned by the past or obsessed with the future, you begin to live from presence. And presence is not a practice, it is a return. The return to now, the return to simplicity, the return to the breath, the body, the beauty of this exact moment. Because the soul only lives now, and now is enough. Always has been, always will be. When you drop into this moment, the illusion of separation dissolves. You see God in the ordinary. You feel grace in your stillness. You remember that there was never a moment when you were truly alone. You may have forgotten, yes, but forgotten doesn't mean forsaken. You look back at the darkest nights and you no longer curse them. You bow to them because those were the nights you cracked open. Those were the nights the illusions began to fall away. Those were the nights you began to hear the whisper behind the noise saying, come home. And you did. Not all at once. Not perfectly, but faithfully. And now, you are here not as a shadow, but as a soul. Not as a role, but as a presence. Not as a reaction, but as a being. You live slower now because you're no longer in a race. You breathe deeper because you're no longer holding your worth hostage. You smile more because your joy is no longer conditional. You give without grasping. You love without losing yourself. You create without comparing. You've dropped the heaviness, the story, the struggle, not because life got easier, but because you remembered who you are. And the beautiful irony is this: what the world told you to hide is exactly what makes you whole. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it is your gateway to empathy. Your softness is not a weakness, it is your truest strength. Your presence is not insignificant, it is the very space where healing begins. You no longer try to be impressive. You now aim to be honest. You no longer chase meaning, you create it by being fully here. And in that presence, you are guided, not by fear, not by ego, but by something quieter, deeper, more ancient, the wisdom of the soul, the whisper of your divine source, the intelligence of love itself. And this is the moment where everything turns. This is the moment you stop looking outward for proof and start looking inward for peace. This is the moment where you become the parent to the child inside who was waiting all along to be loved without condition. This is the moment where forgiveness isn't something you do, it's something you become. A state of being that flows through you effortlessly because you are no longer interested in carrying what was never yours. You choose freedom. Not later, not when it's convenient, but now. and now again, and now again. Because freedom isn't a destination, it's a decision. A decision to be here as you are and know that it is more than enough. And so we arrive at the sacred edge of remembrance, where everything you once sought outside of you is revealed to have lived within you all along. You were not born to chase love, you are love. You were not created to seek light, you radiate it. You were not sent here to gather pieces of yourself. You were sent here whole, radiant, holy, and merely invited to remember. The real you was never gone, just buried. Under layers of fear that were never yours, under beliefs passed down by generations too wounded to know better, under silence you thought would keep you safe. But safety is not found in hiding. It is found in truth. And truth never asks you to be small. You are not a damaged soul in need of fixing. You are an infinite spirit in need of freeing. You do not need permission to return to yourself. You do not need validation to exist. You do not need agreement to be whole. The only requirement is your yes. A wholehearted yes to presence. A gentle yes to truth. A courageous yes to life as it unfiltered, unedited, unrehearsed. This is where the liberation begins. When you stop trying to be lovable and realize you are love, when you stop trying to prove your existence and begin inhabiting it fully, when you stop searching for God in the sky and remember God has always lived inside your breath, your body, your being, and when this knowing settles in your bones, the world no longer has the power to shape you. You become rooted in what cannot be shaken. Not arrogant anchored, not defensive devoted to the truth of your soul, devoted to the peace that no storm can take, devoted to the sacred path of being fully, fiercely, freely you. You begin to walk in the world differently. You speak with softness and certainty. You listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. You love without needing anything in return because your source of love is infinite. And you stop grasping for control because you understand that surrender is the truest form of power. This is where the ego dissolves not in defeat, but in awe, because the ego cannot survive in the presence of truth. And truth is what you are. You no longer hold resentment because you no longer hold yourself hostage. You no longer repeat the story because you no longer identify with the suffering. You've learned that the wound is not your identity. It is the place the light enters. It is not a mark of failure. It is the sign of initiation. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be present, to weep when the heart breaks, to laugh when joy floods in, to sit in silence when words are not enough, to dance even when no one watches, to love even if it means loss, to live even if it means letting go. Because real living is not about certainty, it's about surrender. And surrender is not weakness, it is the ultimate alignment. It is saying, I trust what I cannot see because I know who I am. It is releasing the story that says, I must control everything, and returning to the sacred knowing I am already held. And you are held by a universe that speaks in synchronicities, held by a divine presence that has never left your side, held by the breath that continues moment after moment, asking nothing but your return. So come back again and again. Come back to the sacred now. Come back to your quiet knowing. Come back to your soul. Because no matter how far you've wandered, no matter how long you've been buried, the truth is still waiting with open arms. It is not bitter. It is not angry. It is not impatient. It is still here, still whole, still you. And now you are ready not to become something new, but to unbecome everything that was never real, to shed, to release, to return. And in that return, you risen not above others, but above illusion. Not in ego, but in essence. Not in perfection, but in peace. The world may not understand this version of you. let it not matter. Because understanding is not your mission, embodiment is. When you live as your truth, you are the mirror the world forgot it needed. When you walk as your soul, you are the prayer the world didn't know it had spoken. And when you return to yourself, you return to all. You begin to live not as a separate being, but as an extension of life itself. The trees become your teachers. The stars become your reminders. The silence becomes your sanctuary. And love pure, boundless love becomes your way of being. Not something you give, not something you do, but something you are. You are the love you've searched for. You are the light you've longed to see. You are the peace you once thought was lost. And now you remember fully, completely. Finally, the real you was never gone, just buried. But you, my dear, have risen, and the world will never be the same.